Let's talk about the Dallas Cowgirls. As you can see by the title, yes, they are cursed. And the man in the booth, Jerry Jones, is being a grown baby that doesn't want to win because A, he can't pay the guys who's making his franchise look good, and B, doesn't even want to spend money on bringing anybody that could help his team after losing players. And it's starting to show now, first with the attendance in training camp, which the Cowboys are usually known for having a high attendance rate, but the stands were quote unquote strikingly empty, and there were some on the fence and line, and it was only solid. So Malachi, after watching this whole situation between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb with their whole contract talks, what do you think is going on with the Dallas Cowgirls? And how do you think this is going to affect them going into the season?
First, I will say, man, as of today is August the 2nd, and we no longer have to deal with Skip Bayless. Jerry Jones, you are next, sir. I'm sick and tired of the Jerry Jones dialogue. I think that it's only fitting for us to start with him before we get into Dak and CD, because Jerry Jones is the one that wants all of the attention. At this point, Joe Biden, Jerry Jones, same guy. Anytime I'm hearing Jerry Jones get into his dialogue, I can't comprehend what he's saying. This all started in January when they had media availability. So after the Cowboys got embarrassingly bounced out in the first playoff game by the Green Bay Packers, Jerry Jones says this: I would anticipate, we're looking ahead at our key contracts that we like to address. We will be all in. I would anticipate we will be all in at the end of this year. So when you say, is there any thought, we will push the hell out of it. It will be going all in on different people than you've done in the past. We will be going all in. We've seen some things out of some of the players that we want to be all in on. Yes, I would say that you will see us in this coming year not build it for the future. It's the best I've ever said, and that ought to answer a lot of questions. So we have some signings. We have some signings of Ezekiel Elliott. He came from the New England Patriots, 1 year, $3 million. We also have Royce Freeman coming previously from the Los Angeles Rams, Eric Hendricks, Los Angeles Chargers. Departures of Tony Pollard, Michael Gallup, Sean McKean, Tyron Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Dorrance Armstrong, J-Ron Kurz, Stephon Gilmore. We have a retirement from Leighton Vander Esch. Jerry Jones, you said that we're all in. What are you talking about? I have no idea what he's talking about. That's the Dallas Cowboys offseason in a nutshell. CeeDee Lamb has not shown up to training camp. If I'm CeeDee Lamb, I'm not showing up to work. I need a contract. You know, Jerry Jones, you know what the number is. The wide receiver market essentially is going in the same direction as the quarterback market. It's not going down. It's showing no signs of going down. Jerry Jones, he gave an update on the CeeDee Lamb contract. Essentially, he is saying that they are having conversations. They are talking, but no deal has been made. So what is the holdup? You haven't made any moves in this offseason. You have three big boys: Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. Can we get it done? At this point, the offseason is about to be over. We're in training camp. Jerry Jones, you know what the numbers are. Get the deal done. I'm just not really understanding what the mentality, what the mindset is of the Dallas Cowboys organization. You make the most money. You're the most valuable franchise. What is the holdup? Because based off of their moves, saying that we're all in, I think we need to define what all in means. Because essentially what I'm seeing is a lot of words from Jerry Jones, but he doesn't even know what these words mean. I think what Jerry Jones does is before every media session, he looks at the dictionary, the word of the day, and he's like, I'm going to utilize this word of the day. I'm going to utilize it some way in my media session, but he doesn't know what the word means. He just looks at the word and he doesn't read the definition. He doesn't understand the context of his dialogue. I mean, Jerry Jones, he never played professionally. I know he played in college. The CT is definitely kicking in, or maybe it's dementia. I don't know.
Jerry Jones, he reminds me of that nigga that walks into the casino or something, and he's like, I'm all in. And he just throws out like one chip. Yeah, with this whole Dak and CeeDee situation, I'm confused. The Cowboys, they've only spent about $100 million. It's not like money's the issue. They allegedly offered CeeDee a contract, 4 years, $136 million. So that puts CeeDee at making $34 million a year. So he'd be second on that list of receivers. That's a pretty good contract. Obviously, you can see why CeeDee wants more. He put up 1,700 yards last season. He's been putting up 1,000 yards basically almost every season that he's been in the league. So you can understand where the money hunger is coming from, which is he's definitely deserving of it. Now, that quarterback situation with Dak Prescott, I don't know what is wrong with Jerry Jones and what he has against Dak Prescott, but dog, not even throwing him a contract offer is crazy. He can't get an offer, at the least an offer. Now, Kirk Cousins, he came off of a torn ACL and he got a bag. Like I said, you can't offer this guy nothing. Now, you look at the top 5 quarterbacks: Joe Shiesty, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua. Those are the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. And when you hear those names, Dak Prescott's name can easily be thrown in there. So with this whole situation, how I honestly think it's going to play out, we can see both of these guys having a dominant season. They're sending a message to Jerry Jones like, hey, bro, you gonna throw us our money or we finna dip. And if you don't throw them that money, then they gonna dip. And then Jerry Jones is just gonna look like an asshole. Jerry Jones, I don't know if he's taking the wrong medication or what, but that brother needs some help. Now, Caleb, seeing the whole contract situation between Dak and CD, what do you think the Cowboys are gonna do? And then how do you think going into this season the Dallas Cowboys are gonna look?
Well, the Cowboys, what they do is predicated basically on what Jerry Jones does, pretty much with the financial situation. Now, I do believe that this holdout is going to continue. Like CeeDee Lamb, he's missed all the practice, so this holdout is going to continue for him. But it's not going to be a biggie. I don't think CeeDee Lamb is a big concern. I think the bigger concern, the elephant in the room, is Dak Prescott situation. If I'm Dak Prescott, I'm looking at it some type of way. If I'm Dak Prescott, I'm trying to break the market. I'm trying to get that deal done. And Jerry Jones is playing the cat and mouse game, and I'm not liking it if I'm Dak Prescott. So that's kind of where I think it lies on. And the Dallas Cowboys' future will definitely lie on the precipice of Jerry Jones, which is why I think they won't ever win a Super Bowl if he's still their owner. Man, I don't know if he sold his soul for those 3 championships in the 90s or whatever, but man, bro, the boys already kind of discussed the issues going on financially, but I kind of want to discuss the training camp and the play of the Dallas Cowboys going into next year. I am kind of interested in the new running back room that they did get. They got Zeke back. They got rid of Tony Pollard, which I thought was a fantastic move. I thought Tony Pollard was one of the most overrated running backs. Like, he got so overrated. Like, the dude, like 2 seasons ago, only showing out because I wouldn't call him a gadget player, but he just thrived off Zeke getting the short yardage, so he can just get the the chunk plays. When you're the number 1 guy, you don't have Zeke there, then you don't see those chunk plays going on. So that's why he was having a down year, as people said. But I always thought dude was overrated. I do like the new situation that they got in the running back room. I don't have much to say offensively because they were like the best offensive team 11 games in this season, I think. So I don't have much to say about that. My big concern with the Dallas Cowboys has always been their defense come postseason time. Now, the defense, as we know, is terrible against the run. Thank God they got Quinn out there. Man, he was a terrible coordinator. Like, just playing cover 1 and cover 3, that's not going to work, especially with those small ass linebackers. Like, that makes no sense to me. We know the Dallas Cowboys, they have a really great DB room. That's not much to worry about. The big thing to me is the linebacker core. Most of the linebackers for the Dallas Cowboys, they're really just bigger safeties. They're not even linebackers. Come postseason time, when you're playing against a really well team that's able to establish the run and then get you into play action. So Aaron Jones had a feast on their defense. Once they started, trying to respect Aaron Jones, then that fled up the passing game. How are they going to be able to change the defense? Now, I heard that Zimmer has some different looks, so they're going to be disguising some coverages, and there's a lot more motion confusing the quarterback. So I do like that. I'm more of an advocate of that. I don't really like cover 1, cover 3 coverages as much because it's like you're predicating so much on your DBs. Cover 1 is man coverage. So the Cowboys, they play really good man, but I don't think it's sustainable in the postseason. And we saw they got torched by the Green Bay Packers. This is definitely a make it or break it season from the Dallas Cowboys. It's a make it or break it season for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has to prove that he can not even win a championship, but just lead his team to any postseason success. He has not been able to do that. I think his playoff resume speaks of him being 2-5, so he's not really good. And then when you look at his stats, I don't think a lot of people notice this, but when you look at his stats, a lot of his stats are inflated because of him getting garbage numbers. And that's what he got during that game last year against Green Bay. The score at one point was 27-0 or something like that. The final score looked like, it was close, like 48-32, but the game wasn't close at all. The Cowboys really have to look to improve, and just all the egos need to go. Starting up top, it really needs to start up top with Jerry Jones. But the Michael Parsons talking, Lawrence, I'm so tired of him, man. He just talks so much, man. I think he said in a report that they're like Super Bowl bound this year or something like that. Something to that again. They had to put their money where their mouth is this year. The coaching staff too, like Zimmer, I know this is his first season here, but a lot is going to be pressed onto the line of him. And I think McCarthy, people aren't going to miss this. McCarthy's done a pretty solid job in my opinion. These years, they don't remind me of the Jason Garrett years. I thought the Jason Garrett years, they were kind of just a mediocre team. If they weren't a mediocre team, they were above average team. My McCarthy years, they've been a pretty pretty good team. If you're in that range, your quarterback is going to have to will you if he's to that caliber. Now, I do think Dak Prescott isn't to the caliber of, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, but you have to play well in the postseason. And Dak Prescott hasn't done that. I think Dak Prescott, he's going to get the bulk of it if they lose. And the defense, specifically, new defensive coordinator Zimmer, there's going to be a heavy reliance on him. They have the talent, of course. We know that they're one of the most talented teams. So they just got to will it all together with all this talent. Coaching, ownership, everything has to come together for them to win this championship. And I don't think they will win it. But, it's something to look forward to.
Just piggybacking off what Caleb said about this franchise being cursed. We did kind of talk about questioning Jerry Jones sold his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, it's documented. Jerry Jones said he sold his soul for that third championship. There's video proof about that. We have it coming out of his mouth, verbatim. I can link that in the description of this video, just to give people some perspective on the current environment of the Cowboys. I have to give all of the bulk of the blame for what's happened over the past 28 years to Jerry Jones. Did you guys know that in 1989, Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys for $150 million? As of 2024, they are worth $9 billion. Did you guys also know that the Dallas Cowboys are 32nd in the NFL in cash spent? So the money that they're spending on players, they spent $219 million last year. The average NFL team spends $278 million per year. So that means that the Dallas Cowboys are 21% below average spending money, which means that you are cheap as hell, Jerry Jones. They do not learn from their mistakes. The quarterback market is not going down. They lost leverage on Dak Prescott's second contract because they waited. They waited for other guys to get paid, which means that what? Quarterback market is only going up. Dak Prescott, that means his baseline is only going to increase, which is why they could have got him at probably $33 million back in 2019, 2020. They end up having to pay him $40 million a year, $160 million. Dak Prescott is going to get his bag. He's going to get his worth. He's not going to take a discount to a billionaire. These other franchises that are ran well, what do? Jalen Hurts, he makes it to the Super Bowl. They go ahead and get him a contract right after. These other guys, even though I think that a lot of these guys have a lot to prove, the Trevor Lawrences, the Justin Herberts, who doesn't have a playoff victory, they have a lot to prove, but they paid them early because guess what? Those guys, they have so much potential. They have so much talent that if they end up doing well, getting some playoff victories, maybe hitting the Super Bowl, $55 million is going to be nothing in 2 years, 3 years, because the market just continues to go up. But the Cowboys, they go year to year. They lost leverage on Dak Prescott contract. And with this next go round, they are going to lose him for nothing. I don't think that they are going to pay Dak Prescott his worth, and he will hit the free agent market and he will get a bag. Because at the end of the day, Dak Prescott is going to continue to put up stats, going to continue to provide production. Last season, he finished second in the MVP voting. He was second team All-Pro, made the Pro Bowl, led the league in passing touchdowns, led the league in completions, completed nearly 70% of his passes. So how are you going to replace that level of production, Jerry Jones, sir? With Trey Lance? With Cooper Rush? Okay. So all in all, the Dallas Cowboys are allergic to winning because Jerry Jones refuses to empty out his pocketbook because he has that cheap mentality. He's still running the Dallas Cowboys as if it's a mom and pop shop. I mean, look at the org chart, the organizational chart. If you look at the people at the top, all of their names end in what? Jones. You got your sons, you got your daughters, you got your grandkids. If you want to win a Super Bowl, Jerry Jones, you are going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay Dak Prescott what he's worth. Because honestly, you should have paid him, or you should have probably paid him last year.
They should have paid him last year. It didn't make any sense to me why they didn't do that. And then the quarterback market has gone even higher. Like Jerry Jones even said that the quarterback market has reached a peak, which doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't really get it. But
there is no peak.
Yeah, like he said that, and like the peak, like, now is what, like 55 million or something like that, something in that range. Jerry Jones, he was late on this decision, in my opinion. Nobody thinks that they're not going to pay him. So I don't really understand what the holdout is. I'm not a billionaire, so, I ain't trying to count bro pockets, but it sounds like Brad's being Mr. Krabs. Like he's being very, very cheap.
From 2013 to 2020, the salary cap increased basically $10 to $12 million per year. Salary cap now is $254 million per team, with an increase around $30 million per team per year. Salary cap is only going to go up because the NFL business is booming. They're just making more money.
Did you see the playoff numbers? The Super Bowl did numbers this year. It did crazy. And even the entire postseason did crazy. So the NFL is definitely booming, unlike the NBA, no pun intended. If you're an owner, man, you just gotta swallow the ego, man. And I think Jerry Jones, That's going to be the downfall of this team for as long as he is the owner. I don't see the Cowboys doing anything with Jerry Jones currently still as their owner.
My only downside with the whole Dak thing that I could see that has them, thinking like, oh, we still haven't seen much, was like, you look last season, most of his wins came from non-playoff teams. The only playoff teams that he did beat, I think he only beat 2. And plus you have, he's never really been that good in the playoffs. He only has 2 playoff wins. So I can see.
My question for you would be, how many quarterbacks have been great in the playoffs? Like, look at Lamar.
None.
He has 2 MVPs and he hasn't done shit in the playoffs. Like, these guys that are getting contract, Justin Herbert does not have a playoff victory. Trevor Lawrence has one.
Yeah.
It's just a playoff victory. It doesn't matter.
It's just a situation that Dak's in with that team. Because if Dak was on any other team, he probably would have been got paid. So it's just that team and that owner, a big ass baby.
Any other quarterback from a different franchise, like Kirk Cousins, got the bag. It doesn't really matter about your postseason success. Now, I think that separates you from different quarterbacks. That's why I think Lamar Jackson, I think he was ranked, number 2 on the top 100? I don't think he's the second best player in the league. I don't even think he's the second best quarterback in the league. But that doesn't really matter when you're taking into fact money. If you're an elite quarterback, star quarterback, you want to expand the market for future times. So you want to break the bank so y'all can continue to get paid. And Dak Prescott has already been on record as saying he's fine with doing that. That's what's kind of leaving me in the conundrum where I'm like, Jerry Jones, why haven't you just paid the man? What's all this hold up? Like, I don't really get it.
What more do you want from me?
I think that there is a contract on the table. I think the contract on the table is probably 55 mil, probably 50 to 55 mil. But like CJ iterated, that is not resetting the market. Joe Burrow already has that, but that's not resetting the market. At the end of the day, if we're just evaluating what they've done in their careers, Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. What gives any merit for, if I'm Dak Prescott, for Trevor Lawrence to be making the same amount of money as it is me? He doesn't have the accolades. Playoff success is the same. I have more playoff victories than him. So at the end and I'm only 31 years of age. Dak just turned 31 the other day. So it's not an age thing. Dak has plenty of football left ahead of him. So at the end of the day, Jerry Jones, what he's doing is he's trying to utilize manipulation tactics with his business, which is understandable because he is a businessman. But at the end of the day, you contradict yourself when you say that you're all in, that the focus is about winning. The focus is not about winning. It has never been about winning. It is about your ego, and it is about making money. If you told Jerry Jones, you're going to win the Super Bowl this year, but you cannot do any media press conferences, he would not do it. He would not take that Super Bowl because he loves attention. Jerry Jones is an attention whore.
I'm interested to see when they do actually give Dak his contract. I'm interested to see what Jerry Jones is going to say was the holdout. I'm just interested to see what he's going to say in general. I don't really think there's nothing that no excuse that you can make as to why it took so long. Like, money is not the issue. Like you said, $9 billion, and they only spent $100 million. So money isn't the issue.
It's the ego. I'm explaining to you why it's taking so long. It's because of his ego. Dak Prescott won that battle. The last negotiation, Jerry Jones said after he gave Dak that contract, he said, "I overpaid for you." He told Dak that to his face. He told, "I overpaid for you." Dak beat him in that negotiation battle. Jerry Jones refuses to allow that to happen again. He would not allow that brother Dak Prescott to beat him in another negotiation battle. He is going to stand 10 toes down.
Stop the fuck off.
I gotta step off.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm 10 toes the fuck down, nigga. Fuck, I ain't going no fucking where, nigga.
And Dak Prescott would not allow him to win. Dak Prescott will be going into free agency if he doesn't see $60+ million on the table, and I do not blame him. I would take the same approach. Do not be surprised if Dak Prescott goes into free agency, and do not be surprised if you hear about, Jerry Jones throwing out some bullshit contract and Dak Prescott saying, "No, I'm going to evaluate and test out the waters and see what my options are at the end of the season." Don't be shocked.